Good afternoon, preschool friends. Today we are going to be reading The Very Bumpy Bus Ride. The Rumbletown bus stopped at number 1 Bumble Street. Mrs. Fitzwizzle climbed on board carrying her prize strawberries to take to the county fair. The doors closed with a swish, and off they went, bumping and bouncing down Bumble Street. My, said Mrs. Fitzwizzle, this is a very bumpy bus ride. Suddenly, the bus bounced to a stop. Honk, honk, the bus driver sounded his horn. Honk, honk yourself, answered a gaggle of geese. Is this the bus to the county fair? Yes, it is, said the driver. So the gaggle of geese waddled onto the Rumbletown bus. At number 4 Bumble Street, Mr. Flapsaddle climbed on. He was carrying 2 bottles of fresh cream to take to the fair. Good morning, Mr. Flapsaddle said to the goose nearby. Honk, honk, the goose answered. Then the bus started with a jerk, and off they went, bumping and bouncing down Bumble Street. My goodness, cried Mr. Flapsaddle, this is a very bumpy, noisy bus ride. When the bus stopped again, it was for Granny Smith's pickup truck. My truck won't start, Granny said, and my cat, Crabapple, and I have a load of prize apples to take to the county fair. Don't worry, said the driver. We can tie your truck to the back of the bus, which is going to the county fair. Good idea, Granny said. So they tied the truck to the back of the bus and off they went, bumping and bouncing down Bumble Street. Hang on to your whiskers, Granny called to Crabapple. They hadn't gone far before the bus stopped again. Moo, the bus driver called to a cow. Moo yourself, the cow answered. Is this bus going to the fair? Yes, it is, said the driver. So the cow climbed on board. The next stop was at number 6 Bumble Street. Billy McNilly was waiting to take his pet goldfish, Herbert, to the fair. Herbert could swim in perfect circles, and Billy was going to enter him in the pet contest. They squeezed onto the bus, and off they went, bumping and bouncing down Bumble Street. Jumping jellyfish, cried Billy McNilly. This is a very bumpy, noisy, crowded bus ride. Suddenly, the bus stopped again, but this time it did not stop for a passenger. It did not stop for a gaggle of geese, a cow, or a broken down pickup truck. It stopped for a big hill, a big, steep hill. Everyone out, the bus driver called. We can't make it up this hill. But how will we get to the fair? Granny asked. I'll pull, said the cow. We'll push, the others said. And we'll honk and let everyone know we're coming, said the geese. So they huffed and they puffed and pushed and pulled and honked and mooed until finally the Rumbletown bus was on top of the Bumble Hill Street, and there was the county fair at the bottom. Hooray! Everyone cheered. But before they could get back on the bus, it started rolling down the hill all by itself. My bus, cried the driver. My strawberries, cried Mrs. Fitzwizzle. My cream, called Mr. Flapsaddle. My apples, cried Granny Smith. Herbert, cried Billy McNilly. They all ran after the Rumbletown bus. It was rumbling and roaring and jiggling and jostling and bumping and bouncing faster and faster down the Bumble Street hill. Crash, bang, clunk, pop. The bus stopped right outside the Rumbletown County Fair. Oh no, everyone cried when they saw the strawberries and the cream and the apples all over the bus. And Herbert wasn't swimming in perfect circles anymore. He was hopping up and down. The judges came out to see what had happened. One judge wiped some strawberries off the bus. Delicious strawberry jam. First prize. And he handed Mrs. Fitzwizzle a blue ribbon. This is the best whipped cream I ever tasted, said another judge, as she handed Mr. Flapsaddle a blue ribbon. Granny Smith won first prize for her applesauce, and Billy's fish, Herbert, won the pet prize. After all, he was the only fish at the fair that could hop instead of swim. Everyone clapped and cheered. They had all had a wonderful time at the Rumbletown County Fair, and it was all because of the very bumpy bus ride. The end. See you next time.